He will prevail against them and wear out the saints of the Most High. One of the marks of the Antichrist is that he will persecute the Christians. This has only been too terribly true. It has been estimated that Pagan Rome had slain between 10 and 20 million Christians. Papal Rome has been estimated to be the cause of the deaths of about 50 million Protestant Christians, according to Gibbon the historian, who wrote The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire. Look at some of these persecutions. Pope Alexander III, in 1179, commanded the Waldenses to be exterminated, and so King Philip of France destroyed the Waldensian province of Picardy, the town being burned with fire. Reformers were burnt alive, others exiled, and their property confiscated by the Roman priests. Pope Innocent III, in 1198, started to put to the sword the Albigenses, promising paradise to all who murdered these Protestants. In 1208, the town of Béziers in France was burnt to the ground and 60,000 slaughtered or burnt alive. Terrible atrocities were performed on men, women and children. Pope Paul III, in 1534, commanded the Duke of Savoy to exterminate the Vaudois in the valleys of Piedmont in northern Italy. In his Book of Martyrs, Fox says, "The Duke entered the Piedmont valley with a great body of troops and began a most furious persecution in which great numbers were hanged, drowned, tied to trees, and pierced with prongs, thrown from precipices, burnt, stabbed, racked to death, worried by dogs, and crucified with their heads downwards. Those who fled had their goods plundered and their homes burnt." Pope Gregory in 1572, beginning on St. Bartholomew's Day, 60,000 Protestants died in a terrible slaughter which took place in various French towns at the hand of the French troops. To commemorate this terrible massacre, Pope Gregory caused a medal to be made on which is shown an angel assisting a French soldier to slaughter men, women and children. The Inquisition in Spain between 1481 and 1808, Llorente carefully calculated that 341,000 were condemned by this institution, 31,912 were burnt alive, 17,000 burnt in effigy, and nearly 300,000 tortured and condemned to severe penances. Daniel 7:25 tells us how long the persecutions would go on for, 3.5 times. A time is a lunar year of 360 days. 3 times 360 equals 1,260 days, years, 1 day for a year. In 533 AD to 538 AD, the Emperor Justinian decreed that the Bishop of Rome was head of all the holy churches and all the holy priests of God. The decree was made in 533, but didn't come into effect until 538. 533 to 538 plus 1,260 years equals 1793 to 1798. This was the time of the French Revolution, which was the papacy's first great blow to its prestige, for over 40,000 Roman Catholic churches were destroyed and about 7 million people killed, while in 1798 the Pope was dethroned by Napoleon. In 610 AD was the first official Pope. 610 plus 1,260 equals 1870. In 1870 the Pope lost all temporal power when King Emmanuel became ruler over Italy. After the 1,260 years, 1870, it says in Daniel 7:26, "The judgment shall sit, they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it unto the end. They had their dominion taken away, but their lives were prolonged for a season and a time." The Catholic Church is still around today, but it doesn't have world dominion anymore. Fifth kingdom shall be in prominence somewhere about 1870. "In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, and this kingdom will fill the whole earth." God raised up Israel as a kingdom, and from her was birthed the church during the fourth kingdom, Pagan Rome. The church will eventually fill the whole earth. I know there is a lot of persecution against the church today by Muslims, Hindus, communists and other religions. Some say there is even more persecution now than in the days of the papacy, and that my argument is weak. I'd like to point out this persecution was unique, and that it was done by the Antichrist in the church against the Protestant Christians.